Hello students, welcome back to NEET WORLD channel. This is Narayani, I am your botany educator. So in previous class we completed the essays from the chapter of respiration in plants, glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Now we start the 4 marks questions from the chapter of transport in plants. So before I am going to the session, I would like to announce very important news for you here, all of you. So the batch is already started from the 1st July and the new batch is going to start from the August 1st. And who are really passionate to become a doctor, this is the best platform for all. So because we are giving it just rupees 3,333 per month. So what are our programs? So we are giving live plus online classes, recording sessions are also available, and we are learning from the basic NCERT based syllabus by experienced teachers with weekly test and also mock exams also we are conducting, and well crafted study materials we are providing. If you thorough with our classes and you started the doing of mocks of our well crafted study material itself, you get a good rank in the upcoming competitive examination of NEET and also EAP set. And one-on-one mentorship is provided. If you want to take either offline mode, online mode, as per your preference, you can join with us. So you either, if you prefer offline, you can happily come to our institute name called NEET WORLD, present in Narayani Ma'am, Hyderabad. If you want to join through online, down scrolling number is please contact with that number. See, here is the contact number. You can contact with that number by us. So we will give you access in our app name called MedWorld. There itself you can learn everything and you can get a good rank. It is the best offer we are providing. This is very limited offer and limited seats are also available. If you are really passionate about your dream, this is the best platform for you. So who are going for college for 11th and 12th, this is the best opportunity for you. You can do parallel coaching, then you get a good rank in the upcoming examination of NEET and EAP set. So this is our program. If you have any queries, please contact with this number. So, and another more important news is, so this is our Telegram channel. So by scanning this QR code, you can access our Telegram group. So there is, for the competitive examinations, the mocks of doing is very important. So we are dropping biology, chemistry, physics and mathematics in the Telegram group. So there you can do your revision of your particular subjects and do the mocks of it. And the pre-early information of live class schedules will be there, and free resources. What are the free resources of digitalized materials we will drop there, and one-on-one doubt solving session is there by expert faculty. It is one of the important session, you cannot miss it. So here we are giving in the Telegram group channel pre-early information. So whatever you have doubts, you can contact by through this Telegram channel. Thereby we can clear out all your doubts. This is about our Telegram group students. Let's see the today's topic. Before entering to learn about the transport in plants, let's see the balance sheet of the cellular respiration. Wait 1 minute. So see, so one glucose molecule, how many ATP molecules are produced? For one glucose molecule, there is production of 36 to 38, right? 36 to 38. See, in glycolysis, how many molecules of ATP are getting at the end of the glycolysis? 8. This is the gross, right? In that, here is the consumption phase. In glycolysis, how many ATP molecules required to get the to break down the glucose? 2 ATP molecules are required. So by that, in the 1 to 5 steps we are consuming the 2 ATP. So in the substrate level phosphorylation occurs, so we are getting the 4 ATP there. So we will minus this consumption of energy, 2 molecules of ATP, and we are getting the oxidative phosphorylation occur, so we are getting 2 NADH. So 1 NADH is equal to 3 ATP, right? So we are getting 2 NADH. So thereby it is 2 3s are 6. 6 are getting in the oxidative phosphorylation. and total how much? 6 plus 4, 10. But we have to minus the consumption phase of the, the energy we require for the, that is investment. The investment phase we have to be minus of it. So thereby we can get the 8 ATP molecules of gross. So this is the gross ATP molecules we are, that one glucose molecule produced in the glycolysis. So at the end of the glycolysis, what is produced? Pyruvate is produced. Pyruvate is turning into the acetyl-CoA in the mitochondrial matrix because of the enzyme name called pyruvate decarboxylase enzyme. So pyruvate dehydrogenase enzyme. So that we how many is any ATPs are producing? No, there is no ATPs producing here. There is a production of 1 NADH. As it is a 2 pyruvates, we are getting 2 NADH. So which means 2 3s are 6 NADH, 2 3s are 6 ATP molecules are producing. So here in the link reaction we are getting 6 molecules of ATP. And in the Krebs cycle, so we are getting 1 GTP, right? So as the process occurs 2 times, because it is 2 pyruvate molecules, that is by 2 ATP we are getting in the substrate phosphorylation occurs. So and we are getting 6 NADH, 6 3s are 18 and 2 FADH are producing of 2 pyruvate molecules, got it? So thereby we are getting the total 24 by adding this substrate level phosphorylation also we are getting total 24. So then the gross amount of one glucose molecule is 38, but in that we have to consider 36 molecules of ATP. 2 are utilized in electron transport chain. This is about the balance sheet of the cellular respiration. Got it? So this was the balance sheet, students. Take a screenshot of it, and now let's dive into the topic of transport in plants. So transport in plants. What is meant by transport in plants? What is meant by transportation? Which means transporting. So is the plants have any circulatory system? No. So like us, plants have circulatory system? No. Which means the transport in plants, how the transportation occurs in plants. So what need to transport in plants? So transport. So wait 1 minute. Transport in plants. Plants need to transport water, minerals, and also organic materials, right? And growth hormones, plant growth regulators. So everything need to be transported in a plant, right? So from water, they have to take from the roots to the tip of the plant, which from the ground layer to at the tip of the plant. So they have to take the water from the soil to at the superficial layers of the plants, at the tip of the plant they have to transport. So is that easy to transport water from against the gravitational force? Not, right? So plants performing some orderly fashion manner. So how it is occurring, we discuss. And not only that, minerals which are present in the soil, they have to be transported through from the soil, right? And coming to the organic material, which was in the plant which prepares food in the superficial layers, right? The food is prepared in the superficial layers, right? So what are the photosynthetes? The food we are prepared by the photosynthesis, we also called as photosynthetes. These also need to be transported to the plant. So in the superficial layers of the leaves to the ground level of the roots too, they have to be transfer the food, right? So that process we call it as translocation of food, right? Translocation of food. So how this water transported in plants? By the vascular system. By the vascular system. The vascular system contains xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem. So we all know from 10th standard onwards that xylem transports water. Xylem transports water and phloem transports food. Phloem transport food. The photosynthase which is prepared in the superficial layers of the plant. Right? So in the xylem transports water is always unidirectional. Always in the unidirectional. And the phloem is bidirectional. So whatever the food which is prepared in the plants, it should be transported to the upper layers of the leaves and also in the ground layers of the root too. Which means it is the food which is prepared in the leaves, it is a bidirectional. And the xylem is transports water through unidirectional from the ground level to the tip of the plant. It is always unidirectional. And the phloem food transport, this translocation is happening by the bidirectional process. And also the bidirectional having the PGR, which means plant growth regulators also, they are exhibiting the bidirectional condition. Got it? So transport in plants, they have to transport water, minerals and organic components which is prepared in the plants at the top of the leaves, and they have to be transport entire plant. So they are exhibiting the bidirectional. And coming to the water which is present in the ground level to the highest tip of the plant by the unidirectional way. So it is happening by the vascular system. Vascular system contains xylem and phloem. Xylem transports water and phloem transport food. So the food is also called as photosynthase, and the translocation, which means the food which is prepared in the leaves, it is stored in the plant, right? That methods, the transporting of food to the various parts of the plant, which means non-photosynthetic areas, is nothing but translocation. Not only photosynthetic areas, wherever it is required, it transports the food, right? So this is about the transport in plants. Let's see. So is only transportation in plants occurs in the exhibiting short distances or long distances? They are exhibiting both, right? They are exhibiting short distances also and long distances also. Short distances and also long distances, right? So for the short distances, like they occur by the diffusion. They occur by the diffusion, right? For the long distances, they have to depend on the vascular system, right? So for the short distances in plants, the transport occurs by the diffusion. They do not require any living system. If you lighten the incense stick, what will happen? You will get the order in the entire room. So they diffuse easily, right? From the high concentration to the low concentration. From the high concentration to the low concentration, which means the area. So your mother is cooking some special food for you in the kitchen. The order will come, it spread to the till hall, right? So by the diffusion, right? From the higher concentration to the where there is no having that higher concentration, which means they are going from the high concentration level to the low concentration level. And also in the cell, the cytoplasmic streaming occurs by the active transport. By the active transport. Is this diffusion do not require any living system, but this cytoplasmic streaming requires the living system. Got it? So for long distances, they are using the vascular system. Vascular system. Got it? So now see. So for the long distance, they are using the vascular system. That is what the transportation is happening in the plants. There is no any transportation. There is a transportation occurs. See, this is the plant. So this is the old leaf. This is the young leaf. So this is the old leaf. It is going to fall some other time it will be fallen. So it is the old leaf, right? So before it's going to fall into the ground, what it will do? What are the minerals, what are the components there here? It will transfer to this end leaf. Is the end leaf having those components? No, it is an end leaf, right? So here the components of the old leaf is going to this small leaf. Okay, which means not all. This this transport of the minerals which to the end leaf they are mobile elements. The transferring of elements is called mobile elements. Not all will be transported to the this end leaf. Some like calcium, and also sulfur, they will not transport to this end leaf. What will happen? This whenever this this old leaf fall to the ground, which means the censored leaf fall to the ground, what will happen? This calcium and sulfur again back to the soil, through the soil, they are by the decomposition. This by the roots, with the help of the roots, they are again getting back to the plant. Got it? So whatever the minerals, what are the elements are transporting, those we call it as mobile elements, which are not transferring. So some like calcium and sulfur, they are immobile elements. They are immobile elements, right? So the transportation is not like animals. As they don't have any circulatory system, they have to go through the orderly fashion manner, right? So let's see this. So let's see the transport in plants. So that what are the methods they are exhibiting? The plants, what are the methods they are exhibiting? Let's see. The transport in plants occurs by two ways: passive transport and active transport. For the passive transport, they do not require any energy, but active transport is not like that. They require energy. They require energy. Let's see. For the passive transport, there are two types. One is diffusion. And another one is facilitated diffusion. So for the diffusion, they do not require any living system. They pass from higher concentration to the lower concentration areas, right? So for the what is facilitated diffusion then? So see, the diffusion of water in plants, nothing but osmosis. In the plants, from the roots it have to reach the higher areas, right? So let's consider this is the root. Okay, these are the root here. So this is the water. So at the tip of the plant having the more water, or the soil having the more water? Of course the soil have the more water, right? So it is the higher, where is the higher concentration of water is there? In the soil. From the higher concentration to there is no concentration, which means which is very low level of water in the tips of the plants, right? From the high concentration to the from the low concentration, the diffusion of water molecules from higher concentration to the lower concentration is called osmosis. Got it? So through the semi-permeable membrane, it is have to travel through root hair to the from the root to the from the tip of the plant. So that process is called osmosis. The diffusion of water from the higher concentration level to the lower concentration level. So the transporting water to the tips of the plants. Coming to the facilitated diffusion. So they require some membrane. So see, so when we are talking about the transport in plants, first of all water which is present in the soil, right? First it have to be cross the epidermis of the root, right? Then after epidermis, then it have to enter the endodermis. Then after it have to enter the xylem. Then xylem transports water to the till the leaf areas at the tip of the plants. So when the water is in the soil, it should have to cross the root hair. See, this is the considered it is the root hair. So this is the water. First water is absorbed by the this root hairs. Then what will happen? The epidermis. So root hair itself, it is the first layer, we call it as epidermis, right? Then after that there is the presence of cuticle cells. Then after that it is having the endodermis. In the endodermis there will be a strip will be present like this. There will be a strip is present like this. That strip we call it as Casparian strip. Casparian strip. Got it? That strip we call it as Casparian strip. Then it enters into the xylem. Right? So from the xylem it enters to the tip of the leaves. Got it? So from the xylem it transports to the all parts of the wherever the photosynthesis happens. So for the photosynthesis one of the required element is water, which is received from the soil. Right? This is how the transportation occurs in plants of water. Right? So not only water, minerals also transports by the xylem. Got it? So see now. So let's see now. So we are discussing about the how water is travelled from the tip of the soil to the from the soil of roots to the tip of the plant, right? Through that process what we call osmosis. From the higher concentration level to the there is no water level, right? So that process we call it as diffusion. Coming to the facilitated diffusion. For the facilitated diffusion there is a requirement of the membrane, right? The first for the cell to cross for the for the plant cell there is a first element after the cell wall is the after the cell wall what will be there? Plasma membrane will be there, right? So plasma membrane is not having any, is the plasma membrane is highly selective membrane or not? It is a highly selective membrane. See, this is the diffusion. So they will easily pass through, they can easily pass throughout to the plasma membrane also. But see, some hydrophilic molecules will be there. Some hydrophilic molecules. They cannot cross the membrane as simply. So what they will do? So there will be a, there will be channels, carriers and pumps in the membrane. So these are the channels. See, what will happen? So first they will attach this hydrophilic molecules. Then see, this is the thing of it, this is the membrane and it is the having the some channels. They will, here the so many molecules are there, hydrophilic molecules are there. They will attach here. First they will attach here. Then when it is attaches, it just turn like this. So from the outward to the inward it will turn. Then what will happen? So when it is turning, they are releasing into the intracellular spaces from the external region, they are getting into the internal region, right? This is what about the facilitated diffusion. There are of, see, I will show you. So this is the diffusion. So this is the passive movement, which means they are going by the facilitated, they are exhibiting the facilitated diffusion. So here it is the ATP requirement is there, which means it is the exhibiting the active transport. It is exhibiting the active transport. They require energy. Till now what we studied from the high concentration to the water is reaching from the low concentration, or else the the molecules are also the hydrophilic molecules, whatever they are reaching from the high concentration to the low concentration. Where is the presence of elements to the, there is no presence of elements, right? So now see, active transport. For the active transport, they require energy. Why they require energy? So, because they are not transferring from the high concentration to the low concentration. They are transferring from the low concentration region to the, from the low concentration region to the high concentration region. Got it? They are not traveling from the high concentration to low concentration. They are exactly opposite to the, passive transport. See, they are traveling from low concentration to the high concentration regions. So, they require energy, right? So, by the pumps. So, the active transport exhibits the pump system. The active transport exhibits the pump system, which means they require energy, exactly like the motor. So, in our houses, what we will do? There will be a motor, right? So, they are pumping, they need some energy, right? So, like this is how the, active transport is also works. This is how the active transport also works. They require energy. They take from the low concentration region to the high concentration region. Got it? From where there is no having high concentration levels, they are having the low concentration to the, they are taking into the high concentration region. Got it? Now see. So, this is how the transport system happening in the, plants. So, what are the, in the facilitated diffusion, there are having of 3 types of systems also. Let us see this. They have the symport system, uniport system and antiport system. So, what are these? See. So, in the uniport, there is, the travelling is occurs through the one way. There is a travelling of elements by the, in a one way, molecules by one way. From the symport, they are, the movement will happening in the same direction. The movement is happening by the same direction. From the antiport, it's not like that. They are opposite. They are exhibiting opposite condition. Exactly like anti to the symportus. They are coming in the same direction. But antiport is not like that. They are travelling in the opposite ways. They are transporting through opposite ways. Right? So, this is about you have to learn about in this transport in plants. And they are having the special channels also. What are the channels? They are porins. So, they are exactly like, see, they are having in the system, in the membrane, they are having 8 different channels will be present. So, they are exactly appear like this. So, 8 will be there. They are representing the whole like appearance. So, the fitted molecules will be transported to the intercellular space. Got it? Through this channel. Got it? So, now see, what are the driving forces responsible for this water? Right? So, what are the driving forces they are? So, one of the reason is the transpiration. One of the reason is transpiration. What is meant by transpiration? Transpiration is the loss of water in the form of water vapor through stomata. Through stomata. So, from the higher concentration to the, where there is no, lesser concentration. So, in the soil they are having the high concentration of water. Having the high concentration of water. Then, in the leaves there is no high concentration of water. So, this is how the transpiration occurs in the leaves. So, these are the one of the driving forces, transpiration and also water potential gradient. Water potential gradient we learn in this session, and then hydrogen bonding, and also surface tension, and also by surface tension. So, these are the driving forces which transportation in plants is happening. Let us see that first. What transpiration is nothing but loss of water in the form of water vapor through stomata. Got it? So, is the water is required for the plants? Of course, they require for the plant. So, it leads to preparation of food. right? Then after that, whatever the food is prepared, the food is transported to all parts of the plant. Which parts they require energy, they will utilize it. So again then it's stored, right? So let's see this water potential gradient. So in this lesson you have very most important questions are these 6. Out of these 6 you definitely get one in your IPE examination. So what are the questions here we are having? Define and explain water potential, and what is meant by plasmolysis, and how it is practically useful to us. How does ascent of sap? So what is meant by ascent of sap? The reason, the upward movement of water from the soil to the tip of the leaf is called ascent of sap. The uphill movement of the water. So from from to the ground region to the higher region, right? So that is ascent of sap. So transpiration is an SR will explain, and transpiration and photosynthesis a compromise explain, and explain the structure and mechanism opening and closing of stomata. Got it? Let's see here now the first question, water potential. So before learn the water potential, so what is meant by water potential? So water means, so the water is required element for the plants, right? 1 minute. Okay. Potential. What is meant by potential? Energy. Is water having the energy? Of course it is having the energy, right? So it is having the some energy. So that energy we call it as kinetic energy. So that energy we call it as kinetic energy. So that energy we call it as kinetic energy. Why water is essential for plants? For the physiological activities. In the plants there is requirement of the physiological activities, water is the main component, right? So the biological process occurs in a plant body or a human body, everything, in all living organisms need of water for their life and health, right? So that is where the water is requirement. So they have some energy now. So they have some energy. So this energy, so for this water potential we will give some, they are given some psi to represent this water potential. This is the psi, and expressed in particles. So they have some energy. So here the water molecules have some energy, which means they have maximum potential. These having the maximum, these water molecules having the maximum potential, right? So here it is a pure water. It is not involved with mixed of any elements. That is why the pure water having the 0. This is a pure water. So is the water potential affected by any other? Let's see this. So it is affected by solute potential. Solute potential. See, in this water we cannot see any solutes here. So now I am adding the some solutes. Like example, see. So if you take the bowl of balls. So it's like take the example of taking the balls of yellow balls. So when you pick the balls, it is just a few balls in your hands. Now see, I'll mix with some other balls like black balls. So when you take the balls in your hand, there will be a group of bunch of balls will come mixed with colors, right? It's not like that when they are having all colors. So now they are mixed with 2 colors, right? Solute, because having the some other colors also, like that. So in this now it is having only no solutes are there. Like now I am adding the sugar. So now water with dissolved with the solute called sugar, right? So which means the energy will also be turns, right? So which means, so now pure water turns into the negative. So whenever the solutes add into the pure water, it always get into the negative. So this is the water. Now I added the, so now what I added? Solute I added. So now they have some energy. So now what will happen? Because of this, the pure water turns into the negative. So they are turned into the negative potential. which means in pure water whenever the solute is added it turns into negative. And is there any other factor is responsible for this water potential? Of course yes, that is pressure potential. Pressure potential. So see, when we are learning about the pressure potential, so when plants we are giving water to it, so enough water is there. So first the cell absorbs the water, right? So now, so here see, only some water is there in plants. What will happen? They will move in a random way. So more water is given. More water, they are having more energy. More energy means they have more pressure, right? Which creates the positive impact, right? And it leads to the cell turgid. It leads to the cell turgid. Then it helps to maintain the cell structure and shape by the cell wall. Okay. So this is what about the water potential. Let's see in the clear way in the question. So here they are saying about explain the water potential. 1 minute. Okay, see. Define and explain water potential. Water potential is a measure of movement of water from one part to the another part of the plant, from the soil to the tip of the plant. It involves diffusion, the movement of water from soil to the root, we call it as osmosis. The diffusion of water into the plants, we call it as osmosis. Got it? It expressed in particles. Water potential of pure water is taken as 0 because there is no involvement of any other solutes. So it is taken as a 0 because when there is no solutes, the water molecules move freely and the energy also same. It's the maximum potential they have. At the standard temperature and pressure, water potential has two main components. What are those components? To know about this, we have to read solute potential also and pressure potential also. So when the solute is added, it becomes negative because why? So when we are adding the solute to the water, so it becomes the concentration level of the solute increases and the energy of because water is mixing to that solutes, right? So it decreases its level. So when solute is dissolved in a pure water, the concentration of pure water decreases. The concentration will be decreases. Hence water potential is also decreases. This decrease in water potential is called solute potential. It is always negative. It expressed in the psi s. It is expressed in the psi s. Water potential expressed in the psi w. Got it? So now see, pressure potential. So when the pressure will be increased, when having the more water, the water having the more energy, right? So when you are having the more energy, it having the more pressure too, right? So it creates the positive impact. When some water enters into the plant cell, the pressure against the cell wall. So when the cell becomes turgid, what will the cell wall, what is the function of the cell wall in the plant? It makes the cell shape, right? It resists the cell wall, it makes the cell shape, retain the same shape. So the pressure against the cell wall increases due to the diffusion of water. The cell makes turgid, which means the cell become swollen. This increase in water potential is called pressure potential. So when there is a pressure potential increases, the water potential is also increases, which means the pressure potential is always directly proportional to the water potential. If you say that it will become negative or not, of course it is become negative. In the xylem, when the suction pull is happening, it will shows the negative. Other than it will always be exhibit the positive. So pressure potential is nothing but, so in this case what to know about the water potential, the pressure potential is always having the when the pressure potential increases, the water potential is also increases, which is quite directly proportional to each other. See, it is always positive. It absorbs in the ascent of water through stem, which means the uphealing of the water. Total water potential is equal to sum of solute and process potential is the formula for this question. See, this is the water potential. The formula is solute potential plus pressure potential. This is the formula for this question. Got it? This is about the today's session, children. So, let's meet in the tomorrow session. Once go through the PPT, then if you have any question, please let me ask in the next session. So, before I am winding up the class, I would like to inform very important news for you students. That is, we are announcing the long term batch here from the August 1st onwards. So, what are our special program includes? We are giving the recorded plus live class sessions and well crafted study materials provided by us with affordable fees for just rupees 3,333 per month. If you are really determined to, your passion, if you had really want to become a doctor, see yourself a doctor, this is the best platform we are creating. So, because it is a very affordable fee, for just rupees 3,333 per month, we are introducing this program. So, and we are explaining from NCERT level to the highest level. So, the well crafted study material, if you really passionate and if you really learn through all classes and if you do the mocks, you will definitely get a good rank in the upcoming competitive examination. And one-on-one mentorship is provided. If you want to join through offline or online, you can join. So, for offline you can come to our institute name called NEET WORLD present in Narayani Ma'am. If you want to join through online, down scrolling number is there, no? Contact with that number, then we will give you the information and we will give you access in our app name called MedWorld. Then you can go through our live plus recorded sessions. Got it? So, this is what about number. If any queries, further queries, please let me know by this number. So, this is what about today's session. Let's meet in the tomorrow session, students. Thank you.
Two NH4 plus ions and minus. So, between nitrogen and hydrogen there will be covalent, between oxygen and sulfur covalent, between these two ions ionic. It has